Good evening. It is 5:30 on January 11th. We would like to call City of Clovis Lodgers Tax Meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. Will the clerk please call roll?
Thomas Martin,
Here.
Freddie Bryant,
Here.
Jess Reyes, LaShawna James,
Here.
Gail Tarson,
Here.
and Commissioner Garza.
Here.
All right, we're going to start with approval of minutes from our last meeting that was on November 9th. Are there any corrections we've seen in the meeting?
I didn't see any corrections, and I motion to approve.
First motion by Mrs. Tarson. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All right, LaShawna has the second motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion has carried. We're gonna, well, do you guys want to chat about funds at this point, or once we reviewed?
Y'all can review the application
Okay. We're gonna begin the review of the applications as they came in. Just a reminder that we have, the great thing about the new process, which is not new anymore, but we get the applications in early, so we're able to review them. So if, when you come up, Commissioner Garza reminded me, we have this handy dandy 3-minute.
3-minute timer.
3-minute timer. They made this one specifically for 3 minutes, but you can make it brief, and then we can follow up with any questions that you have. But if there's something that you can't put in writing that you want to mention to us, just give us a quick overview. We'd be thankful. And it will keep the meeting rolling, because we are finally back to what feels like some normalcy with the number of applications that we've received. The past few meetings have been a lot quicker. So, first application, and we've got the first two applications are from Miss Angie Moore with CBT barrel racing.
So do I get 6 minutes or just?
You get 6 minutes.
I'm the school teacher, so remember I can talk. Oh, just kidding. Good evening to all y'all. So the reason that I'm ahead of the game and I turned in the application for both of our races is because for 2022 CBT barrel racing, we want to award a trailer, which is pretty unique, pretty special in the barrel racing industry, and how we want it not necessarily awarded on a point system. We want to give away one. And each time they come to one of our races, whether it's one of the two here in Clovis or one of the two in Amarillo, they get to put their name in for a drawing. And at the end of each day, we'll draw 10 names out of that, and then so that would be Saturday, and then Sunday they can re-sign up, and they have to be a contestant, and then we'll narrow it down 10 more names. So then at the end of our 2022 season, there'll be the 80 names that will be in there, and then from there actually award the trailer. So the more of our races that they come to, the more their chances are of winning the trailer. And so that's why like I said, I'm here presenting both instead of coming and using my 3 minutes twice. And so yes, y'all got to look at it. And so that's the thing that's different. And hopefully this year we get to have both of our races, these two races back here in Clovis. So we had lots of momentum going, and in 2020 we got to have the last event in Clovis before COVID shut us down. And then so we were in Amarillo for our races, and then we got to come back here in September of last year. It was good to be back.
Good. Board, any questions right off the bat? I just had one question. I know we've seen you before, and you put on a good show. So your total marketing costs $9,500. You're asking $6,000. In 2020, we funded $4,500, and I think with your second application, it's from $3,500 in 2020 or 2019, and then we jumped up to $6,500. Is that increase with the trailer? Okay.
That's the main increase, yes. I mean, just like with everything else, things have inched up in price, but that would be the main difference in previous years and this year. it is pretty unique in a barrel race to be able to win a trailer. I know, like, team ropings, they give trailers and pickups, and I don't know how they do it, or they're on a whole different level than me. But it's always been a goal of mine to do that in all of my years of producing and all of my years as a contestant, and so I'm pretty excited to hopefully get to do that this year.
And is the trailer wrapped?
It will be.
And I think in some of the the races where the truck is given away, they have to keep the wrap on for a certain amount of time. Is that the same?
Yes, and we're still working out all of those details, but we work with Backwoods Apparel and Susie Cherry, and she does wraps or just like the logos or the on this side. My ultimate goal would be a wrap, if we can get all of that financially put together. And yes, with that, I think the contract is normally where it has to stay on for at least a year. Just a few other little things. We worked last year. We had our Facebook Live, so it was like what we normally call a live webcast, but we did it through Facebook Live, and our commercials during the drags where we had some City of Clovis material that we got from the chamber, and Leanne got to come out to the race.
The pin things are pretty cool.
the
No
barrel
more ropes,
the barrel
no more,
covers.
the barrel pin, yeah.
Yeah, we
I'll see, that's how much I know.
it was our barrel covers. Where we had the City of logo put on top of them, but we didn't get to use them because then that race was in Amarillo. But we still had the barrel covers last year, so
Cool.
they were pretty neat.
I did see on the first application you've got T-shirts. The second application you didn't. But on the first one, are those free? Are those given out to it says team T-shirts, those are given out to the teams, or?
Yes, so the March race, we don't have any I call them national co-approvals. Future Fortunes and KK Run for Vegas are with our September race. And so in order to help make something special for the March race, when we had it in 2020, here, we added a team race, and that's where and we can arrange it however we choose to, but when we did it in 2020, we had 4 individuals that comprised a team, and those that pre-entered the team race, they got complimentary shirts that Susie made for us with Backwoods. And they got to pick their colors, and then it said race for cash, and then it had the Clovis logo on it. And they had to pre-enter that team race so that we had time to make their shirts. So they're kind of custom, I guess you could say, not just generic.
Okay.
A new contact that my husband made in the last couple of weeks. He's friends with the owners of the HTO that just opened up, and I was looking on their Facebook page, and he's been talking to them. But we're actually going to go by there and see. Like, I know they have like Yeti coolers, and see if things that they sell that we could use as awards, because I know y'all like for us to support local, and we do too. And so that they're not listed on here, but they are a last minute idea that I thought of.
Okay. All right. I don't think there's any other questions. And this was for both applications, so.
Yes, because if we can get the ahead of the game approval for both applications, then we can move forward with the bigger item, the trailer, instead of me having to, or not having to, but coming back in July.
Lucky enough to come back in July?
Yes,
Thank you.
y'all would be lucky enough, and I would be lucky enough. It's a two-way street. I love to talk, so.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Next application is High Plains Junior Rodeo Association.
Board, I want to thank you guys for having us here tonight and listening to our requests. My name is Randy Hall. I'm the Executive Vice President of the High Plains Junior Rodeo Association. We've been home-based here in Clovis since 1974, with the exception of last year. And we felt it, and we are so excited to get back to Clovis, get back to New Mexico. And actually, help some of those people that couldn't rodeo in New Mexico rodeo again this year. Our membership is up. We've already received new members, like 18 different families, showing us that they want to come rodeo with us. The High Plains puts on a very high caliber rodeo. We abide by PRCA rules, and we have PRCA accredited judges that we pay. We put up in motels. A lot of the people that come to our rodeos, the aunts, uncles, the grandparents, to watch their relatives, they don't have living quarters, so they do stay in the motels quite a bit. We are not asking for the total funding. We're asking for $25,000. That's just for the rodeos that we have in Clovis. This year, we've added 2 regular season rodeos. We usually do a membership drive rodeo right off the bat here in Clovis. That's 2 different rodeos, one each day on the weekend. We're going to have another weekend with 2 more rodeos, and then the 4-day finals in July. And that's the big draw is the finals in July. You know, we get a lot of family that comes in because we make a week out of it here. And, you know, the people, they eat in the restaurants, and they really, really enjoy Clovis. It's been a shot in our arm to actually come back.
So real quick on that note, so is the 25,000 request for all 3?
It is for all 3.
Okay.
And in the years past, if we can't make the full amount work right off the bat, we have asked for 15 initially and then come back on another app and ask for the remaining 10. We will have some radio spots airing here in the Clovis area and in the Lubbock area. And we'll have banners, the cost of our EMTs. We'll grab some volunteer firemen from the Texaco Fire Department, and they'll be on standby to keep us in regulations of our rules. And I might add, some of if you guys are gracious enough to allow us any kind of funding, these are the jackets. Please, this is my wife Janet and my daughter Carly. We put Clovis, the logo, on the back. And there'll be about 150 to 200 of these, hopefully with a big membership turnout. And they'll be seen at barrel races, they'll be seen at junior rodeos, they'll be seen at Texas and New Mexico high school junior high rodeos and elite qualifiers. So we will put Clovis's name out there.
Good. Anything else, board? Do you have anything?
Just to clarify, so the paperwork says you're asking for 41,300, but you said 25,000 is what you're
That's
looking
the
for.
total cost to produce these rodeos that we're having in Clovis.
Right.
We are only asking for 25.
Okay. So when you are filling the paperwork out, you do want to have that be the number that you include here, and identifying the cost associated to that allocation of dollars of 25,000? Now we have to do math.
Teacher. And she does put on great barrel races, by the way.
And so, Mr. Chairman, and just for clarification, because in the packet that you provided, you had fees associated with the judges and the timers. That's not an eligible expense, and so out of that $25,000, you were or were not planning on paying for judges and timers?
Right.
Okay, well, we still have other expenses that we can use those funds for, but.
Correct, but just so the board knows what exactly, what is gonna total that $25,000?
We just wanted to show that that is an accrued expense that we will have to produce one of these.
Yeah, for purposes of this forum, though, it's important that we have listed only those items that you're expecting to be covered by the lodger's tax.
Okay.
And so what we need to do is we need to go back through these and ixnay the ones that don't apply.
Okay.
It would just streamline it a little
Okay.
bit, yeah.
So you would prefer me to submit an application? Is that what you'd like to do?
No,
I can
we're
tell
gonna
you
do the
what-
math.
We can add it up real quick.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll get you there.
There's definitely enough advertising here to cover the 25,000. It's just a matter of checking off the ones that aren't eligible.
The 2750.
Any other, anything?
No, I think this is a good thing. Especially with the last one in July, 4-day event is awesome to have.
And we wrote in here that, well, our application states that we were not able to be in Clovis. We did have 2 rodeos. We had our membership drive rodeo, and we did receive some partial funding.
Yeah, plus so
In
basically those.
2021, we couldn't.
Oh, and banners.
And so, Mr. Chairman, basically the Cowboy Times advertising, the member jackets, the banners, the radio ads, the event buckles, and what is the membership drive rodeo saddle?
Those are prize saddles we will be giving at the membership drive, and we give saddles at each rodeo.
Okay, so that definitely gets them to $25,000.
Okay. All
We're
right.
good to go.
Make
Thank
it
you,
easy
guys.
on
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Duffy Moon with Rooney Moon, and he is calling in.
You guys hear me okay?
We can hear you.
All right. First of all, if you look up at the screen, you'll see why I'm on radio and not on TV. And I appreciate y'all letting me do it this way. I don't know if it was explained to you or not, but we got hammered pretty good in office here at the beginning of the year over the past 10 days with some illness. And so I did want to come into that meeting and potentially bring that into the meeting. Appreciate you accommodating me over the screen. I'm here to present for Smoke on the Water again this year, annual fireworks event that happens at Green Acres Park every year. It's very much a community event with participation from the city of Clovis on several levels, involved with Parks and Rec and the police department, fire department, public works, support as well as the Chamber of Commerce that helps every year with organization of the event. The event's been going on for decades at Green Acres Park. We've been blessed to be able to organize the event going on 2 decades now. I think we're 18 or 19 years to putting the event together, with the exception of a few hiccups in there, courtesy of our friend coronavirus. We run a rather substantial marketing campaign leading up to the event that I outlined for you in the application. And based on the chairman's notes at the beginning, I won't get into great detail in my questions, in which case I'm more than happy to answer those for you. The cost of the event and our costs of marketing have increased slightly over the past couple years. We did ask for a little bit more this year in covering the marketing cost. That's really a threefold reason for that. Firstly, we don't tend to ask for all that we put out when it comes to marketing for these events. We generally ask for 20 to 30% less than what it actually costs us in airtime and in our services. This year, cost to do that has gone up, as have many businesses. We're experiencing certain costs that have increased. When you think of the amount of power that we use and things like that, utility bills have gotten quite high. So unfortunately, we've had to raise our rates a little bit, and some of that is reflected in that which we've asked for this year. The cost of running the event itself has gone up. Last year there was a slight to the event. We did go with a new fireworks company last year over the company we had used for 15 plus years. Was not able to arcade our show last year, so we wound up going with a new company, and quite pleased that we did. Based on the feedback we got after the show, they just put on one heck of a show for Clovis and the surrounding satellite towns for the event. So we're quite pleased with them. Are a bit costlier than the company that we were using previously. Not that we're asking lodger's tax to cover that. We're covering that through other ways, but our cost of putting this event together heavily increased, and so as have our costs to actually market. So we've asked for a slight increase this year over what you've seen in years past when we've come before the Lodgers Tax Committee. Outside of that, the event is an all-day event. We have live music out there, vendors, It's generally attended by thousands. We anticipate or approximate that approximately 7,000 attended last year, which was great to kind of get things back to normal after what was a shaky previous year, courtesy of the pandemic. So with that, I stand for any questions. Or sit.
Thanks, Duffy.
Questions.
Yeah, last year's show was pretty amazing. I have so many videos on my phone that I have not watched, but they're there. They're there, like everything else. No, it was really good. Board, any questions? I think we're good. I mean, it is a great community event, and we appreciate what you put on, and thanks for doing it, and thanks for thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
All right. Next application is Clovis Evenings Lions Club, the Knife, Coin, and Gun Show.
How y'all doing? Well, the gun show's coming back up again, as usual. I'm glad to get it back though, man. That 1 year hurt us pretty bad. Because the money that we do, goes back into the community, to the kids and stuff like that. Just kind of give you an overview of the last one, we had 1,283 people come through that gun show that last time, so it was pretty amazing. It was a good gun show. We had vendors. They was from Albuquerque, Cloudcroft, Tucumcari, Panhandle. We had a lot of vendors from out of town. A lot of people from out of town come in. A lot of the base people come in, and everything like that. We asked last time for quite a bit of money, and y'all granted it, and we didn't use it all. And I do apologize for that. But some of the advertising that we done didn't fall through like we wanted, so we didn't have to use it all. This time we're only asking for $3,600, and that should be pretty close to right on the money that we would need to do on that and everything. So, any questions?
Board, any questions?
I have one. Do you guys typically get the same vendors every time you have an event? Or it's always same ones or different ones?
We have quite a few that are return vendors, but we had a lot of new vendors. We had several vendors from Albuquerque come in this last time, and I think most of them but one's going to come back. We had some from JAL that come in. They were new vendors, and we had some from Lubbock that come in that were new vendors. So we're trying to switch it up to get some new vendors in there and not just keep the same vendors. But if they call, we're going to utilize and open up that other room if we need to, and that way we can just keep filling it up as much as we can.
Okay, so you never turn people away?
No, we try not to ever turn them away.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, now we are going to do, again, like we done the last time, the pins. We asked for money for the pins with the Clovis Evening Lions Club, and then Clovis, New Mexico on it. We had the gun show on it and everything. We're going to do that with a pad with it this time. And then the pad's going to have the same thing, the logo, Clovis Evening Lions Club, gun show, Clovis, New Mexico, and everything on it like that too this time.
So just a follow-up question. The numbers of vendors that you have coming in from outside, I know you said you have several. Do you have a count of how many
This
come
last
from
gun
outside?
show, we had 65.
65
And
come
I've
from outside.
already got phone calls from a couple of new ones just the last couple of days. So I'm going to open up that, like I was saying, I was going to open up that other room and just keep filling them up. And so we might wind up 80 or 90.
Out from outside
from
of
outside of town,
out
yeah.
of Clovis. And this is a couple of days event, so
3-day event.
And we have probably overnight stays
Yes.
with those as well.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
You bet. Thank y'all. Or is that, that good?
Ooh.
For a walk away,
We might
is that-
have at least one more question.
One more question.
Now we have more questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right, next up is Clovis-Curry County Chamber of Commerce, the Music Festival. Yeah.
Ma'am, could you please state your name?
Yeah, and make it quick.
Kimberly.
Kimberly. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Thomas. So, as you know, this is our, our 32 or 33 years of doing the Clovis Music Festival. The last 2 years, we haven't been able to have the concerts due to our lovely friend COVID. So this year,
Wait. Everybody keeps calling a COVID friend. It's not a friend.
Use your drone.
Excuse me, correction, the pest.
Get to that, yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
is that better? So anyway, we're going to be doing 3 nights of concerts. One night is going to be a free concert, the Faith and Family Night. We're having Danny Goki come in. It's actually Legacy Church is going to be hosting it, so that'll be over, formerly Faith Christian. So they'll be having Danny Goki over there. That'll be on a Thursday night. On Friday night, we're finally going to be having 38 Special, and we have moved to the event center. So we're hoping to have more people and listen to everybody from outside because one of the biggest complaints were they were wanting alcohol. So we have moved over to the event center. And on Saturday night, we're going to be having La Maquinaria Norteña.
Very well.
Thank you.
You've been practicing.
And opening for them will be La Fudier del Bravo. So, and they're a big Norteña group. Last time that they played this way, they were over at Muleshoe. Norteño, excuse me, sir. I'm learning. So, when they were in Muleshoe, they drew about 3,500 people. So, we know we can probably double that, hopefully. So, but that is our request.
So on the event dates, it just shows Friday, Saturday, but it actually is going to be a Thursday, Friday,
Correct,
Saturday.
because Thursday night it's a free, and
But it'll be included in your marketing.
yes, we're going to be putting that on our marketing, even though Legacy is taking the brunt of the funding for all that. Mm-hmm.
So you will be promoting it
Correct.
through the funds. Okay.
Kim, I've got a, if it's okay, question. For the theater ads,
Yes.
$4,500, what theaters are you going to be?
Like the Alamo Theater in Amarillo, Lubbock, down in Dallas area, in El Paso. So on the screen.
So this year you're not teaming up with Dragon Main. Will there be any co-branding because it's the same? It runs into the same week.
We're going to be supporting them, if that's what you're asking.
Just with any of your marketing that's like on those, on the Alamo ad, will it say Clovis Music Festival this week and Dragging Main, or is it just going to be Clovis Music Festival? And I don't know if you've discussed it, but I know it's the same week.
We'll probably mention that there'll be other things going on that week in there, but we don't want to take away from what the Dragon Main's going to be doing.
Okay.
On the money previously received, is that split out from
That was
Dragon
combined.
Main?
That was
So you're
combined.
listing what was both Dragon Main and the music festival last
Correct,
year?
because we advertised it all as one
Right,
group.
okay.
We're trying to hit another market because of the Saturday night, so we're trying to go further out and down.
Mr. Chairman, and Kim, and it may have just been an oversight, but the sponsor giveaways, we allow giveaways for the participants that are participating in an event, but not to the sponsors, and that's
Right, we're going to have giveaways to the crowd.
to the crowd. Okay, so it's crowd giveaways, or is it sponsor? It says sponsor giveaways.
There's a line item that specifically
Well, some
says
of our
sponsored.
sponsors do come from out of town, so, I mean,
And so typically with events, what we do is we allow giveaways to the people that are participating in the event. So if we want to do giveaways to, say, the bands or people that are going to take those items, that is an eligible expense. But just to give things to the sponsors, we've never allowed that as an eligible expense.
Right, so we'll be given away items
Right, but you're,
I'm sorry.
within the 40,000, it says specifically sponsor
Sponsors, right,
giveaways,
so-
so I would deny that 4,000.
right.
Or 4,500.
Okay.
So,
So are we going to remove?
Well, we'll just use it to be given away, like throwing
It won't be
things
given
into
to sponsors.
into the audience.
Audience giveaways.
Audience giveaways. Sorry, sir.
No, you're good. Sorry, I was making some notes. Does
Okay.
anybody else have any questions offhand? And I think to follow up on Gail's point, having a week-long event in 2019 that went for, received 28,000, and now we have a 3-day event asking for 40,000. I think is there
No.
anything specific that, okay.
No. The more marketing we get, the further out we can go and try to bring people here. So that's our goal. Fill up our rooms.
It's listed here that you're going to have a billboard. Do we know where?
Not yet. We do have the one that's courtesy, usually what Plateau gives us, that's in town. But we've been looking outside, down in the Roswell area and El Paso.
Okay.
So,
All right. Kim, you're good?
well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right in time. Thank you. Next up, Misty. Oh, sure.
The timer.
I'm Marcy Anaya. I'm on the Music Festival Board as well. One of the reasons that the marketing is going to be more expensive this year is because of the Mexican music concert we're having on Saturday night. We're trying to reach a much broader audience than we've ever tried to reach before, when we've just had the rock and roll bands on the Saturday night or Friday night, whichever night that we have it. So now with the Mexican music band, we feel like we can go out a lot further and reach a lot more people in the surrounding areas that probably maybe would not have come to the regular rock and roll concert. So that's the reason that the marketing is going to be a little bit more expensive this year.
Well, the way I will put it is a different audience.
A different audience. I said broader, but in addition to the rock and roll band, we're trying to reach additional, a different kind of audience with the Mexican music that we're bringing this year.
That's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And if I can just follow up on questions, Kim, I don't know if you want to come back, or I know who you are, Marcy. So I really do. Anticipated attendance says 15,000. And again, we're focused just on the music festival here. So where are we getting that 15,000 from?
Well, if
'Cause
we
what have
take
ever
each
seen in
night,
the past?
but if it's like different nights, we're hoping to draw more people in for the Mexican night. So that's our main thing. And then 38 special, we've been waiting, this will be our third year. Everybody's been waiting for them to come. So we're hoping to, pack the house and.
Sure, I get the hoping, but my question is more of, so in the past, because we've had Hispanic night before.
Tejano night.
What?
It's
Tejano night,
It's
thank
different.
you.
This is a different.
Okay.
I've
so-
learned that.
But when we come to attendance, though, what have we seen in the past for those?
I think us having it on a Saturday night is going to help. And then the sooner that we start advertising it and marketing it to those areas, the more that they're going to come.
I agree, but the question is, how many did we have in the past?
I can't
Like
answer
on
that
the
because I was not there.
Does Ernie, do you remember, does anybody remember how many we've had attending the past concerts?
Oh, the past ones?
Yeah.
Like Loverboy? Loverboy, we were sold out.
Okay, but how many is that
That was
for attendance?
what Marshall held. I think it's,
1,200?
no, it's more than that. 15.
Mr. Porter has an idea of how many. Come on up, sir.
for
Don't
the
be just
concert.
going, yes, no.
We're also going to have a larger venue this year.
Okay.
Because we're having it
Sure.
at the event center.
Is that
instead of
6,000?
Capacity, yep.
It's 6,000.
Yeah.
A
So
lot more people.
we can fit 6,000 in there.
Right, correct.
That's correct. Marshall historically has about 1,470 seats. And Loverboy did sell out. Historically, when we were at Marshall, we came very close several times to selling out. Marcy makes a very good point that obviously the event center will hold a much larger crowd. And I think Night Ranger was arguably our biggest night as far as music festival was concerned at the event center. And that was well over 2,000 people. I think between 2,300 and 2,500 people that night. So the potential is there.
So the seating, I believe, is 6,000, but we're opening up onto the floor too. So we're going to be having tables and standing room only on the floor also. So that's why we're hoping to draw in more people.
Gail, anything else? No. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you again.
Hi, Misty.
Aloha. Thank you, Lodgers Tax Board. Misty Bertrand, General Manager of the Clovis Civic Center. I am here with the application for our annual Back to School Expo. This will be the 5th year in a row because we did actually put on a simulation of the event during 2020 for COVID. Before I get into the event, I do want to draw your attention to the advertising plan and budget. I noticed there are some mathematical errors. My apologies for that. Additionally, I have some adjustments to make just based on pricing that I did receive since doing this application. So you'll notice we'd like to decrease our Facebook from the 800 to 500, and we'd like to reduce our local radio from 1,000 to 500, and then we'll be taking out the out-of-town radio advertising pending the approval of the billboard, which will also decrease to $2,650. That brings our total request down to $5,000 for this event, not the $65 that was written or the $65.50 if you had added them all up. Again, my apologies for the mathematical errors. Any questions about that before I proceed? Yes.
What about the duplicate of Backwoods Apparel?
Yes, and sorry about that. Yes, also delete the duplicate.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Leanne.
Majestic.
Yes.
Checking my math. I think we're good. Waiting for a thumbs up.
Taking over Siri.
What did you say the billboard was changing to from 3,000?
3,000 to 2,650, $2,650.
I officially
your time.
kicked off Siri.
Excellent, thank you. So again, the Back to School Expo is an event that we've done for the past 5 years. We partner with the Clovis-Curry County Chamber of Commerce, and Pattern Energy has come on for the past 5 years as the sponsor for this event. They sponsor both the space at the Civic Center, and then we use their sponsorship for a good portion of the giveaways that we have at the event. So we usually give away bicycles, computers, and then in the past few years, we've been giving away either backpacks of school supplies or bags filled with school supplies. So in 2021, in August of 2021, we held this event to give away 1,800 bags of school supplies. The year prior to that, we had the drive-through event through our parking lot, COVID safe practices, social distancing. Kimmy and 4 other people gave out 1,500 bags that year, and then we gave out a little bit less the previous year, so we've built this event up. What was really neat at the 2020 event was we actually got to see the license plates of the cars that were driving through, so we could tell that the majority of them were coming from Texas. So a lot of folks come out of town for this event. Our previous ask, sorry about that, our previous ask for lodgers tax was in 2019, so we did not ask for lodgers tax funding for the 2020 event or the 2021 event, so we are coming back now after not having requested lodger's tax. Our marketing plan follows what we're continuing to do with our consumer shows now. We have 2 billboards in Texas that have the City of Clovis logo really big and bright in the center. One of those is located in Hereford, and the other is in Muleshoe, Texas. So they're both driving into town, so you see them advertising the consumer shows that we have coming up. So this would fall into that every month they change the billboard to the different shows that we have at the Clovis Civic Center. So we're hoping to see a big draw from that. We'll know next month when we have our bridal and wedding show, if people, respond that they saw that. So that's the biggest thing that we've added to our normal advertising plan for our consumer shows that we put up on the Civic Center. I'll stand for any questions that you have.
The billboard in Muleshoe is, the lettering is, are you gonna change whatever is there, or? You have the option of changing whatever is on, so don't you tell them not to use the same lettering, color, is,
Like the font and color.
yeah, it's
not
not,
readable?
it's not readable. I mean, you have to drive slow.
Okay,
And-
so more contrast to it then.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Then my question for the billboard is the 2650, is that the cost associated to a new wrap?
So that includes the wraps. So we do have the 2 billboards. They have different pricing for the wraps because the billboards are different sizes. So the total of the wraps was $500, and then the remaining would be $2150 is the rent, I guess, for the 2 months that we would have it up. And that's based off us having already had the billboards. We get a discount now because if we continue, it's a lesser fee than we paid in the previous months.
So 2150 for both billboards?
Yes.
For 2 months?
Yes.
Shauna, do you have anything? Freddie? I think we're good, but Gail, do you want to tell Misty what you told me earlier?
Oh, I do. I want to compliment you, Misty. The last review we got of one of your, I guess, results summary was amazing. And that's exactly what I think we need on every single event. Following event, actually, it'd be great if when we get a packet that the first page includes, here's how we did with all of this. I mean, you listed how many people came from out of town, how many night stays. It was perfect. And so, yes, I did want to compliment you on that. And honestly, I think that should be a pattern followed in every one of these.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, Member Tarson, and so I would say that Missy does have an advantage on some of our events because since they are at the Civic Center and they are able to utilize the iPads or whatever device they were utilizing with attendees coming in, that certainly does help. So it is definitely something that they're capable of producing. But
And it's nice that they do.
It is,
yeah.
and it's great information. It is exactly helpful for you guys, but that necessarily might not be the case on all of the events.
Well, if you think about it, all of the events have some point of entry. And so it's a matter of asking the question and jotting it, whether it's in a notepad, a iPad, or whatever, you have that ability. And it gives us the actual information on which we can make a decision to best utilize the funds available. So compliments to you. It was fabulous, regardless of whatever the sources. But to me, I think that's a source anybody would have.
Well, like Duffy, he should stand at, we should enter,
Oh.
and Duffy should stand there with an iPad, which I think is a great idea. Same thing with Gene.
Hard to do with
Gene, yeah,
with-
first in Main, one entrance, Gene's there with the iPad.
Reporting the statistics maybe though from the vendors that they have coming in from out of town would be beneficial as well.
Well, again, the
So,
numbers that are coming in.
the
that are
numbers that
drawing
you
in.
know, yes, and that's what we.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Thomas.
No, but it's the aspect, it was controlled, and what was controlled, she did
Yes,
maintain it in art,
absolutely.
like to the point of vendors.
The same.
They can, what you control, you can report on, and I think, but it was nice to, it's nice to, it was nice to see.
It was
and-
awesome.
And it was good to see, and Gail appreciated it, and we all appreciate it, but thank you for doing it.
Absolutely, we
Yeah.
just try to, give you the information that you need to make.
Yeah, and we
good
do
decisions,
ask
yeah.
for that, that report at the end, but
absolutely.
it wasn't thrown together, so thank you.
No problem. Thank y'all. I appreciate our partnerships.
Thanks for reminding me.
Thanks.
Great.
All right, speak of the devil, Mr. Porter, Dragon Main.
Board, thank you. My name is Gene Porter, lifelong resident of Clovis, New Mexico, and I want to thank you guys for taking time. I know this is a huge sacrifice for you guys to spend time here in the evenings. City, same thing. Thank you guys. As you guys know and mentioned earlier, that Dragon Main is not participating with Music Festival as a partnership. And as you can see, that both events are expanding and growing, and ours has done so year after year, we believe. And we're excited about this year. And if you guys will allow me the time, I want to go quickly over our schedule of events. We have some things that are changing that are relevant to how we're going to bring tourism to Clovis. And so, our event is 1 week long. We are working on an 8-day event, specifically with Brad Harris that runs the circle track. We've had great success with those guys in the past, and they are working to get that track ready to go. They had some damage from Mother Nature, and one of the greatest draws that we had, especially for getting people out of town, is when the racetrack partnered with us and we had sprint cars come. It was a huge event, and we don't have a single sprint car team in Clovis. So everybody that was involved with the sprint car teams were from out of town. They bring their families, they bring their crews. It's a big spend. So it'd be a great addition, and we are working on that. We'll know for sure that that's taking place by March, getting those guys together and getting the purse together for those guys. We are still doing our tour of Clovis Classic restaurants. That's a Monday through Thursday thing. Foxy's, Taco Box, Twin Cronies, and Wiener Schnitzel, all classic places that everybody that has any tie to Clovis knows, and we get to introduce those places to the out-of-towners that show up for those events, for those restaurants. Friday night, where we would normally do the music festival concert, we are adding a Main Street block party and a street rod and bike only cruise. Our intent is to kind of set off just a very short portion of Main Street, block that off, and street rods and bikes, high-end vehicles and motorcycles. They don't want to cruise their cars with the 17-year-old that just got his license and has found out what power stalling a car is. They don't like burnouts in front of their cars, behind their cars, around their cars. And so that's going to really draw kind of a parade type vibe to that. We want to follow that up with the block party. So they'll do a short cruise between Grand and 7th Street, and it'll be closed off with some very strict rules, and that will end, and then our block party will start. And of course, we have all the great restaurants downtown. We have some other kind of entertainment things that we're planning, one of which is the Globe of Death. It's a stunt show, and the motorcycles ride around in this giant steel globe. And they're going to do 2 shows on Friday night, and they're going to do 2 shows on Saturday at the car show. And we're always working to do that. Of course, our Saturday event will be our Gearhead Gathering, which we had a record number last year. And we had, as a matter of fact, we had people from Louisiana come and stayed the entire week, and they found our event on the internet based on our marketing, our Facebook pages, and advertising that they had seen. And so they came down with their cars and trailers and stayed the entire week for the event, and they loved it. To give you an idea of the amount of how far-reaching our event has become. And then we'll obviously end the deal with our cruise, which is the biggest part of our event. And we tout it as the biggest cruise event in New Mexico. And we've never been challenged, and we haven't found anything that would say that it wasn't. And so we have last year, unfortunately, we could not, because of the COVID, and no, he's not our friend, we could not execute this great event that fortunately the music festival is going to get to do this year. However, we did use the monies from lodger's tax to market that event. And we felt like that was a huge part that was used just for Dragon Main. It was the biggest budget that we've ever operated with. And as a result, we believe that every single day of the event was bigger than it had ever been. We had record number on every night of the restaurants. We had record number on our Gearhead gathering, our car show. We ran out of our goodie bags to give to cars. That's how big it was. And we finally had to tell people we can't let any more in. They kept coming. And we feel like we're more prepared this year. And with the added events, we feel like we could still use that kind of money. As a matter of fact, we feel like specifically our radio marketing, our website, we feel like they're short. Radio is incredibly effective in the car community. And to get into these bigger cities, a $2,000 spend, and I'm sure Duffy could elaborate on that if he so chose, but to get into a Lubbock, an Amarillo, Albuquerque, Las Cruces, San Antonio, to get these people to hear it, to get even a small spot, it's going to be $2,000. And that's on one radio station. And prices have increased, as Duffy alluded to. And so we feel like that is short. We also have to rebuild and expand our website. Our website is old and requires a lot of work, and we're missing so many things like the ability to register online and pay for car show registration online, to buy our merchandise, which helps us pay for the event. That we do not have that yet, and we need to build that. That gets Clovis on the map and gives the ability for people that are in Louisiana and Wisconsin and all over Colorado, Arizona, Oklahoma. This gives us the opportunity to get our stuff shown and get Clovis on the map and start drawing some attention. And I've seen this work because I've been to concerts in Lubbock and I've been to concerts in Amarillo where people I've never seen in my life have Dragon Main shirts on. And of course, that's a great conversation to have with those people. But we feel like even with the ask that we're asking, that we're falling far short of taking advantage of some opportunities that we have in those areas. And that's all I have. Any questions?
You sound like a car salesman, so. but it's all good. Thank you.
Gene, thank you. And I know I can speak for myself, but we're always excited for this one. It's huge and it's fun and it's community involved and it does bring in a bunch of people and it's something to look forward to, and it brings back a lot of memories for the people who dragged Maine. So we're excited. Board questions?
Yep. So when we talk about, and I asked the music festival the same question, when we're talking about how much money we received previously, the money that you show here, is that also
that money
the total money between the music festival and Dragon Main?
That money was from last year was awarded to us as
a whole,
a combined group.
So,
and because we couldn't use that for music because we weren't able to promote music, we used that entire amount for the Dragon Main event, which was my point, that we used that and we felt like we did a very effective job of doing that with as just dragging Maine. And so that money was awarded to us as a combination. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but we did let you guys know, hey, we're not We're not able to do the music this year, but we still would like to use the money to promote the Dragon Main event. So no, and you'd also asked earlier to the music festival if we were doing any cross-marketing. Our plan is not to do that. And from our perspective, it does not revolve around ill will. It just it revolves around the fact that we feel like we're falling woefully short in marketing money to effectively do what this is supposed to do and draw people from out of town. It's not to say that it would be foolish to say that the music festival and the level of lineups that they have this year would not do so. That's a foolish statement. They will. I believe that, and we have had this discussion with the chamber, we believe that there's going to be very little loss of the consumer between the two events. We don't feel like there's a big overlap for a couple of reasons. One is the concerts are typically 2.5 hours, right? So on Friday night, you have a 2.5 hour concert. What are you going to do after the concert? You're going to come down to Dragon Main. It's a good combination, but we're not going to be stealing from our demographics, if you will. And the same thing with the Saturday concerts. We felt like it was the very same thing. We don't feel like we're going to lose people in the cruise because car guys and gals are not necessarily. I mean, their priority is their ride to go watch a music event. We don't believe that the car guys are going to go, hey, we're going to forfeit the car deal and go watch the concert in lieu of the car show. We feel like, hey, but we do feel like that the people that do like to go to concerts will go to the concerts and then arrive at our event in addition to the concerts. Does that make sense? And does that answer your question?
Yeah, you pre-answered a question I had.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I thought about too, is I know in the past years that was specifically why we did not have Dragon Main and concert both on Saturday night, is we didn't want to cannibalize one over the other.
Yeah.
Can I jump in on that?
Kim, do you want to come up?
Yeah, don't be screaming from back there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just so you know, this will be the only year that we overlap because we couldn't change the contract dates with some of our artists. And then the reason why we had to add Saturday night was because you can't have a festival with just one concert. So that's why we had to add Thursday. We did Thursday and Saturday. So, but this will be the only year that they overlap like this because the dates were already set and we were already in a contract with 38 Special. So this won't happen again.
Okay, yeah, no, and I understand, and that does make sense, but I would have thought there would be some cannibalization between the two. And I know that's why we didn't do it in the past, where we didn't have both at the same night, as we were concerned that it would draw one from the other. But you don't think that's going to happen?
I know, because you're hitting two different crowds.
Yes, I believe that having two different crowds because of the concerts,
Correct.
I think it's just going to be a plus to have variety there.
Right, and they can't say there's nothing to do in Clovis.
You don't
The
think your
week-
car guys are
It's
going to
just
want
all-
to go see 38 Special?
All on one night, yeah.
You'll have a few, but then they can always still,
Car guys are going to want to be at 38 Special.
so.
Okay.
But-
Well, if it makes you anything, my other half is going to be downtown while I'm at the other place, so, you know.
Well, Kim, while you're here, and
Sure.
so what time are the concerts?
Good question. I want to say, I think opening act starts at 6:30. So, because I'm not 100% sure for the Faith and Family Night, but a local band, Roosters, right? Rooster will be opening up for 38 Special, and they're from Clovis. So that's
So
Trace Smoke.
opening at 6 till 9:30?
No, I think it'll run a little bit later.
Probably 10.
10.
Typically,
Yeah.
fallen before.
And so to that point, how long are we going to drag Maine?
Oh, till midnight.
Is
Or
it just till
later.
midnight? Or, I mean,
Have you never
and
dragged Maine? Come on.
I was in, yeah, My curfew was 9:30. My dad was no dummy. No,
Well, it does start fizzling a little after midnight.
well, and I just wanted to, like, because I do feel like it's a win. This is a huge, it is a win-win, and I don't think that, I just want people to know, if you're coming in for Dragon Main, it's a plus to come in and, be able to catch a concert. And for the people coming in to catch a concert, you come in a day earlier and you drag, and there's so many events coming on. But hopefully it's not so, and it's that it's so channeled that they get here and they're like, oh, I wish I was here 2 days ago.
Right.
So that was just the co-branding. Is it, if it's you would hope it's going to overlap, but in the world of marketing, it's a big.
Yeah, because there's a lot of information to get out
There's
in
a
what
lot,
little advertising you have. So you want to focus on your Dragon Main and you want to focus on your music. It would be too hard to get all of that in.
It's not like we can't put a plug, like on social media, and, something that we can type out, something, to.
Or if the websites link over, it's just, if you can get them to a site, then they can,
Yes.
you can go down that rabbit hole of what's going on in Clovis. It just,
Yeah,
just the point there is, there's a lot going on. It would be great if everybody knew what was going on.
yeah, and that, obvious, clearly that's our goal, right? And so they have a strong plan to promote the music festival. We feel like we have a very strong plan to do the same thing with Main Street. The only ones that win in this whole deal is Clovis. And that's the goal. And that was the whole point of us saying, look, the whole thing is about getting people to Clovis. That's priority number one. Because if we get them to Clovis, they spend money in Clovis. And the only way we get people to come to Clovis is if we have a great event or events that are worthy of travel. And we believe that we are doing that, but we also believe that we're just on the very beginning of this, and we have to spend as much as we can possibly come up with out of town. I don't like to spend money out of town. I'm all about in town, but the only way we can catch the fish that are out there is if we bait the hooks that are out there, and so we want to pull them in. This is how we do it. We do it with our website. We do it with our Facebook pages. And we do it with radio and social media. And we want to swing hard because historically it's shown return. And that's what we're asking you. We realize that you've had a lot of people come up tonight with asking for a lot of money. And I hope that you understand that we want to be good stewards of the money.
Well, it's just the two of you, really. The other ones are pretty decent. For the ones that are asking for a lot of money.
But thank you guys for your time.
No, thank you for
Any other questions?
taking
Gail,
the
did
lead
we-
on this.
Well, there's some items on the advertising plan and budget that, in my mind, don't seem to fall into eligibility, but I'm gonna
Okay,
ask.
please go
I
ahead.
mean, I'm seeing street closures, security, giveaways, trophies,
So
I'm sorry,
Yeah, so-
police, trash.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a great question. So we did revise our ordinance to allow for police and fire service to be covered. Per state statutes, it was allowed. We just didn't previously allow it, so we've changed that. The commission did to allow for it as well as for public works services. And so they do qualify. I guess my question is you have police listed on here, and then you have security listed on here.
Yes.
The police qualifies. Explain to me security.
Okay, so security, every year we have to use security at the park. We have, for example, we have Hills Hot Rods that comes in with hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory. They set up the night before, and we have certain vendors and there's things going on in the park that clearly cannot be left alone. And so we hire private security to spend the entire night patrolling the park, and that's what we use that other security money for.
Okay, and so that does not qualify. So when it comes to policing, That's for our overtime, having to go out and call officers back as we're out policing, say, the Dragon event. So that type of security is not covered underneath the ledger's tax.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So trash, police is covered now under new ordinance.
Yes.
Street closures,
Yes,
that's covered also.
Correct.
Security is not.
that's correct.
We know giveaways, trophies are okay. Trophies are gonna be labeled with
Yes.
City of Clovis type of
Yes.
thing. Administrative organizational support,
Yeah,
that
we,
is? What is that?
we have, we are in an odd time right now with our transition. So we have the chamber who helps us. They allow us to use Kim and her hours to help us put things together for the event. We also have used and are using Lisa from Clovis Main Street, and that was where that money has come out. We didn't know how to put that in, like what was the appropriate way to do that.
Event planning.
But Lisa and Kim both have already they've already put hours in for this event, and so we thought that was the appropriate way to put that in there. Was that wrong?
Event planning, it is an eligible expense to plan the event itself.
But are you only asking for Main Street, or are you asking for both? Because you only put Main Street on here.
Well, yeah, forgive us. Yeah, we will be asking for both.
So 2,000 combined for,
Can we?
Well,
Can we ask for 2,000 for each?
you asked for 2,000, but is that 2,000
When,
or for?
right, no, they put a lot of hours in for us, and if it's allowed, we would like to amend that to show 2,000 for each.
But you can't charge until after it's awarded. So anything they've done now doesn't count.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
Okay.
So that's basically covering the payroll associated to that support.
Correct.
An hourly rate for them to,
And we require them to provide us a invoice outlining the time spent.
It's itemized. is that
Itemized,
correct?
yes.
but I guess my question then to the chamber would be, since we already provide funding for as the event coordinator, would that be covered within those funds? So, okay, so then it would really just be the Main Street money that would be an addition. So the 2,000 will stay for Main Street.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
So with my job, it would already be covered
Is that right?
Lodger's tax already pays
for her.
a portion of
Correct.
her salary, so
For event coordinator.
most likely it would be covered that way.
So Jean,
Name and address.
Ernie costs 105 East Grand where I live right now. So annually, the chamber comes to this board and asks them to help us compensate for special event coordination, event planning, and graphic design, promotion and stuff. And so the chamber has that contract already. So Kim is already getting paid to help you, and I think we talked about that. But it does not include Lisa. It only includes Kim. Yeah, but thank you. I wanted to mention, since I'm up here, as far as co-branding, I mean, so we're just going to the printer now with our community profile, the magazine, the annual magazine. And so last year we had a full-page ad promoting Dragon May Music Festival. And so Kim comes to me and she says, "Do you want me to take Dragon May out in this ad?" And I said, "Absolutely not. I mean, we still want to promote the week on this page." And so that's no expense to them or you or, so any chance we have to co-brand, we're going to try to do that. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thanks for trying to get us an extra $2,000.
If you just didn't have to go through me.
Just for the record, guys, historically, we've only paid $600 to the security team that stays the night at the park. I don't know if they're still going to honor that, but historically, that's where we get the $600 from.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's still not an eligible expense.
Deduct that from
Okay.
what the number is on there. That's the number that you would deduct.
Okay,
because it's
gotcha.
That's all they charge.
Gotcha.
Any other
you.
questions?
Appreciate the clarification.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sean, do you have anything? Thanks, Gene. Appreciate it.
And yes, we do aspire to be like,
Kim? Oh, Misty.
because we want to do a great follow-up too. We just got to figure out how to do that.
Well, yeah, yours is, yeah, that was a good point, Thomas. Not everybody has the luxury of, you can, have to come in through here.
We'll add 12,000 iPads as a line item. Plus,
Down to every point that you could come onto the street.
no, thanks.
That's not an eligible expense.
Always keeping his eyes.
All right.
Okay.
That was it. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We will be back at 6:45.
Wimps.
What's that?
It's all added.
is 6:45. All right. Meeting is back in, and we will start discussing the applications. But Mrs. Melanson or Mr. Holwalt, do you want to discuss funds that are available?
Certainly, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And so we're actually doing a little better in our actual revenues received versus our budget amount by about, overall in the fund, 63,000. That means about 25,000 towards lodger's tax for promotional items. And so with that, you have between the next 3 meetings, about 253,000 to allocate. After our quick math, in redoing our math again, the total requests this evening total $120,500 as they have been presented this evening and changed this evening. So if you did award all $120,000 this evening, that would leave you with $132,000 over the 2 remaining meetings left in this fiscal year. So about $66,000 apiece if you split that evenly between the 2 remaining meetings. So keep that into consideration as you consider the requests.
Thank you. And do we have anything that is recurring over the next, the remaining meetings that we know that is going to be coming our way?
Yeah, traditionally, the High Plains or the High Plains Rodeo, Pioneer Days Rodeo is coming up. I think the fair may also be coming up. The Home and Garden Show, I believe, is coming up. And so there is some of those events that traditionally come late in the fiscal year that are still outstanding. Clovis Softball Association may have some more things coming up as you consider those ones as well.
The chamber will ask for their event coordinator again.
Correct. Which is a $30,000 request typically.
That is going to come out of this 120 we will have left if we were to fund this.
Because they have to ask for it so that it's ready by July 1, so.
For the fiscal year.
But it'll come out of these funds that are anticipated. So.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. So, Commissioner?
I think we just go item by item and see what qualifies, what doesn't qualify, and go from there.
What the number is. All right. So, first one, CBT barrel racing, requesting 6,000. And also on their second application,
65, so
6,500.
so 12.5 for both. Now, this event does bring in a lot from outside of Clovis, so that we know we'll definitely have night stays for that.
Actually, coming from the hotel side of it, you don't have a lot of overnight stays from that because they all have living quarters in their trailers and they all stay at the fairgrounds.
All of them do.
A big lot of them. The only hotel stays that you see from this are like your timers. You know, you're talking 3 nights, or 3 rooms, or 4 or 5 rooms. You're
For the
not
whole
talking.
event.
Yeah.
So
That is something.
Restaurants we might see.
Your restaurants and your gases is where you see events like this
Not
benefit.
hotel nights.
Not hotel nights. Typically, any rodeo event that you have, they have the living quarters and they stay.
Okay.
So your money that comes in from your rodeos is for your restaurants, your gas.
Going back to the trailer on the list of requests, the trailer is going to be with a wraparound. Does the trailer qualifies for it?
If it's a prize, it certainly does. I know that you guys have awarded trucks and things in the past as long as they're wrapped. And I think traditionally the wrap has to stay on there for like a year in order for that to qualify.
And you guys look after that, make sure that
I mean, we
contract signed and
that's the documentation we
They have to
get is
abide by
usually
that.
the paid invoice for the vehicle itself and the wrap itself. So
And I know that we've talked about in the past was like, well, what if they're requesting a $250,000 wrapped, but it's up to the board to say
How much we would,
how much we feel
Yeah.
like is valuable, so.
right.
But my initial thought
Right,
was,
and her request is 11,805, and she's only asking for 6,500 of it, so the wrap may or may not even come into play for that, so.
For the first one is 6,000, so the second one is the 65.
my thought was 5,000.
95.
I would agree with that. We're gonna have to cut on some of these. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, and then you work with the budget, and you go for it, and I think that's what we'll.
Yeah.
So,
Shauna, you okay with that? Did you hear that? Okay, so 5,000 on the first and 5,000 on the second?
Rodeo.
The third one, Junior High Plains Rodeo Association, 3 events, asking for 25,000.
Now, this is a particular rule that it does bring in more, because you have a lot of parents, or you have a lot of grandparents that come in for that don't stay. They do stay in the hotels. As a matter of fact, I've already got 3 rooms booked for this
makes
coming
sense, huh?
weekend for one of their events.
one of the events.
so-
Well, on this one, we've got 18,000 of it is just for the jackets and the saddles.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that percent? Is it 15% has to be for advertising outside?
But that's not that's not considered
Yeah.
advertising.
No,
So-
that's not. That's why I'm asking.
Out of
Like-
your advertising budget, 25% has to go?
20.
Yeah, 25% has to be for advertising outside of a 50-mile radius.
Right. So in this case, 18,000 of it alone is,
But it's of
No,
just
no. So the 18,000 just counts towards prizes. That doesn't factor in.
It's not part of the
out of your
advertising.
advertising cost, correct.
I know.
not out of the total. I think we did this the last time, out of the total cost. Okay. Okay.
Those 3 events, and I agree, they bring more people into this community, relatives, family, and all that.
Do you want to start at 20? Do you go 25?
I mean, it doesn't have to be the 25. But like we're saying,
We know it works, and it is 3 events.
right. You have one coming pretty soon, so that's the thing.
September 1.
And they're not coming back in July and asking for money.
Right.
So what are you thinking, 20?
There's one in September.
I mean, it's divided by 3 events, it's not a whole lot of money.
No, but it's already happening. It's already scheduled. So they know that it's going to happen. So
20,000?
I think 20 will be just.
20,000?
20?
Rooney Moon, asking 20,000.
Did he left already? How convenient.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going all to him, and that makes it feels weird too. That it's all, none of the advertising's being sent anywhere else. So that's a little.
It's also a one-day event, and nobody's spending the night for that.
Right, it's predominantly all local.
You know, so it's going
It is
to.
a great, it's
It's
a great
wonderful,
event.
yes.
But I don't know that it draws people in
But
and
it
spend all of the
doesn't.
money at that's uncomfortable.
Although it's a lot of work to put this together, dealing with
Absolutely
the
is.
sales people that put the show together. So.
And
Exactly.
Mr. Chairman, in conversations that I've had with Duffy in the past, is that, so if he's having to use sponsorship money to pay for advertising, then that's money going towards advertising and not towards the show. And so his focus is trying to utilize, obviously, the larger tax dollars to go towards the advertising. That way, any sponsorship funds that do
straight
come
to the
in
show.
can go towards
bigger
the
the show.
fireworks show itself.
Sure. I think part of my question, though, Justin, was that all of the money is being spent on one station. It's not going anywhere else to really grab a greater audience? That,
And yes, understood, and I was just trying to give some insight on conversations that I've had
Yeah.
with him and what he's trying to accomplish by utilizing his lodger's tax versus sponsorships and trying to go after other funds for advertising versus how they're distributed.
yeah, okay.
Well, the fact that he's willing to take this upon himself to put the show together is.
It looks like last year you did 15,000.
Is that correct? Is that what it was last year or last time?
That is correct, I believe.
15?
Yeah. Interesting that I thought even last year you had a Facebook. Facebook was mentioned because I know they utilize it, but it's not mentioned here.
Well, I think they don't do any paid promotions. You may have done Facebook, they probably didn't do
But I
any
think it was mentioned on the last one.
I don't,
But I did thought it was interesting. Do you want to start at a full 20? Do you want to go 18? Do you want to do 15?
was thinking 15.
I'm
but
thinking 15, the same that we did last year.
15?
Everybody else okay with that?
I mean, I think we have a budget. We're working within a budget this year. Lions Club, 3,300.
36.
Oh, so they're requesting 36. Their marketing was 3314.
Yeah. They always do that. Every time we
Or they do the opposite.
discuss, yeah.
They ask for less than they need.
Well, and based on the numbers he indicated that come in historically, that is considerable, and they do come for the whole weekend. I would propose we give him the full 33.
Well, 36.
What
I
he's
think
asking
so.
for.
You want to do 3,300 or 3,600? If the marketing adds up to 3,300,
Yeah.
so let's go to 3,300.
Even, so we don't have the 14?
All right, Clovis Music Festival.
Let's do this. Let's get to the Clovis, to the
Back to school
the
expo.
back to school
and then do the
expo,
other
and then
two
do the
concerts.
other two last.
Back to School Expo asking 5,000.
Asking 6,500?
65.
No,
No,
we
we did-
changed
You
it.
changed it to
Oh,
5.
that's
Change
right,
it.
she
Oh, yeah,
corrected.
two different ones, so.
We gave them 3 last year, or 2019, we got 3.
In 19, we gave them 3.
Do you want to do 4,000?
Yeah.
4,000?
Okay.
So now we're left with Dragon Main and
Did you guys already work up the numbers after they deducted for the
900.
36.9
36.9?
for the Dragon Main.
Yes, sir, thank you.
So far you've allocated 52,300.
Okay, so we're back to Music Festival?
yes. So we're on Music Festival asking 40,000.
Okay, you basically can figure that these are 2 outside your Pioneer Days and your rodeo are the 4 main events that happen in Clovis. These are 2 of the main things that bring people in.
Yep. 2021, we gave them 35
For both.
And that was for both.
for both.
So we've got an 8-day event with a
But we
3-day
don't
event.
have an 8-day event.
Not yet. Well, he's working on it. That was Jeans.
But for,
That was Jeans.
right.
Dragon
for-
Main is 8
For,
day.
for this year, though, it's the 12th through the 18th, right? Adding another day to the, okay, so right now it's 6, so it's not gonna be it.
Well, right now it's 7, right?
Well, it says the 12th through the 18th.
6. He's trying to add that extra.
That's 7.
Make it a
So
7 day.
right now it's 6 and it'll be a 7-day. so it's not any
12th,
different.
13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 8, 7, and they're adding one more day.
Oh, I was
You have to add.
I
you
was
have-
minus.
Yeah, I know. That's why I.
That's right.
Okay, so it's gonna be a 9-day event, if they,
8-day event.
8-day
It's
event.
currently at
8
7.
day.
They're looking to add an 8th.
if
So
they
I'm
add
just
it.
looking at 40,000 at a 3-day event. That overlaps the same days that we're looking. It's a lot. I mean, obviously, the music festivals.
They're both asking for double what they as a whole were given
Yeah.
last year.
Gotta get Maine to meet.
Yeah.
Give them whatever they want. They bring in a lot of people.
Yeah, it's massive. So.
A lot of people.
Let's see.
That's easy to good for the community.
We didn't cut out much. So music festival. Some numbers, huh?
Correct?
17th, 18th. So the music festival's only 2 days?
They added a third. It's not on here. but
Thursday,
they've
Friday,
got
Saturday, right? But Legacy's taking care of Thursday.
from an expense perspective.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And Mr. Chairman,
Covering the cost.
I guess I would, my one bit of input on this is that the events themselves don't happen until June, which understandably, they're going to want to start advertising early and everywhere. However, they're not going to realize potentially all those expenses day one. And so we do have additional meetings in March and then in May. Now that May one may get dicey, but another meeting in March that if, depending on the number of applications that come in then, you could consider if you wanted to reduce it and then see if potentially requested additional funding in March or May.
Okay. Thank you.
If we continue, Mr. Chairman, the trend
Still gonna-
of
more funding
increased
available.
revenue, as long as things don't.
You're saying we
that
might
we
have
don't
more
use-
money?
Well, it's
There's the
potentially.
potential
There-
then, right.
there
because
is the
since we did
potential.
go up 25,000 within this 6 months, there's always the chance that if room rates and if you guys are seeing increased occupancies, then occupancy leads to more funds available. If you gave less than and they came back and asked for additional closer to the event.
All right, so start with 20,000 for Clovis Music Festival. Come back in March.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Shauna? Well, I was going to ask you something, but it is gone.
It's gone.
Man, I was
Come
looking
back.
at something.
Yeah, absolutely. It's up to the chairman.
Yeah, June.
I make no decisions around here.
Come on up, June. Yeah, true.
Guys, thank you for giving me just a quick second. Something to think about as far as how Dragon Main is falling right now. We have quite a bit of expense up front. There was mention that it starts a little slow, but we have a website that is yet to be developed. We have expenses for entertainment that, for example, we have a $5,000 check that's going out next week. So these are funds that we already have, but that takes away from our ability to commit if we have to come back in March or May to say, hey, we need this money to go to the radio and go to website and go to social media. and we don't have it, and we don't know that, we don't have any guarantees from the board or the city that we're gonna be awarded any more money. And we cannot count on that money if it's not available. And so that really puts a huge mountain of a burden on us to try to say, what are we gonna do? And how long can we hold this back before we have funds? And are we gonna get funds? And so I would really request that you consider that as all of our upfront expenses. Thank you.
Mr. Porter, we do consider that. The only thing that worries the committee here, the board, is that we have other functions are another.
Absolutely.
So we have to make sure that we balance something here.
Sure.
We can just give everything to one group and neglect the others. So that's the problem that we have to deal with.
Absolutely, I understand.
It's not that one event is not more important than the other. It's that we have to be equal with everybody else that want to come and ask for funding.
Yes, sir.
So that's the only thing that we worry about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gene.
And typically, any other groups that come after the meeting and are awarded some funding, if they come back, they get some more money. So I'm not committing to that, but it has happened. So we just have to be cautious.
Okay. Yeah. So, are still good on 20 to start with?
I was gonna say 26.
On music festival?
No, I'm sorry, on Dragon Main. I
Oh.
thought we had already set on.
We did. I didn't know if you wanted to reconsider on the music festival based off Gene's. So good with 20 on music festival.
Okay,
Oh, I
so
know
you're
what you
saying
mean.
maybe go down on music festival
No.
to give more to Dragon Main?
No, I'm saying, are we good? Do we need to reconsider going up on music festival based on that, or are we okay with
I don't
music
think so
festival?
on
Okay.
music festival, just because we're hoping for the numbers, but I don't know that we've seen, and I think we're good on music festival.
Okay. So we're good on music festival. Sorry, thank you. And so Dragon Main requesting 37. It was adjusted, right? 36.9. Yeah. You want to do 25?
Yeah, I was thinking 26, but 25 is a easier round number. I was just dropping it by 10, just to.
Shauna, do you have any thoughts? It's an 8-day event, and that's the other thing, I guess.
What?
It's an 8-day event.
What brings
The bigger one, right?
usually the Pioneer Day Rodeo Home and Garden Show compared to Dragon Main?
Well, and the fair. It's a week long.
after a physical year.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when we're comparing what draws for this amount of,
Dragon Main
Plus community businesses.
I'm thinking Dragon Main draws more money and more tourists to Clovis
And anybody else.
fair than your.
And you see that in way of hotel stays.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I say-
obviously we see it in restaurants.
I mean, I'm sorry, I think Dragon Main now has become your biggest draw.
I mean, for restaurant wise,
to
my
Clovis.
biggest day last week.
Oh, sure, he drives them all to your place, so yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, but just like that, you know, those guys
We have a
have
conflict of interest on this too over here.
yeah, truly.
Program.
Well, okay, so if we extract these two out,
Extract.
but you're still saying, so it's
Still
your
the biggest.
recommendation that we fully fund?
I would. Sitting up here saying, you can have this amount of money. Oh, yeah.
And this fully unbiased gentleman agrees with you.
I'm just, not just my perspective of my restaurant, I'm just saying, as far as city-wise, it's the biggest event. I
Well,
think.
I happen to live on Main Street, so I see
Yeah,
how
you
big
probably,
it is.
yeah. You probably,
It's
you
good.
probably don't like the horns.
Because they're not just gonna eat at Fox's.
No,
They're just
right,
not gonna
everywhere.
eat, they're gonna eat at
Get
all
tired of hot dogs,
of
yeah.
the restaurants,
Right.
not just, you know, you basically look at it, these people are here for 7 days and they're eating 3 meals a day, or 2 meals a day, let's
Are
say.
they here for 7 days, or are you talking about the who's here for 7 days?
This is at a minimum, it's 7 days right now. And
Right,
looking
but
at
do
the-
people come and,
Oh, yeah.
come and they all stay for the 7 days?
Well, not everybody.
Not
But
everybody.
you do have,
predominant number.
you plan on it, you plan around that.
Okay, so
So-
recommendation to fully fund?
I would.
Mr. Holt?
And I was just gonna give you some numbers, and these are the best we have, obviously without our friend hanging around. And so for example, in March of 2020, the big requests was the Pioneer Days Rodeo was at $25,000. We had the event coordinator for the chamber was $30,000. True roping was $15,000. Then in May, Curry County Fair was $25,000. And then the Main Street came with their Christmas parade in May of last year as well for $13,000. And then the chamber had 2 requests, one for the New Mexico Magazine at $4,000 and New Mexico True campaign at $24,000, to give you an idea of what those requests actually look like.
Did you do the math and total those up?
Siri will.
Won't do it?
On just the ones he mentioned or all of them?
Well, it's hard when you can't get a hard number as to how many givers. There may be a better way to spend that money.
Magazines, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's throwing darts, but this isn't a dart.
And the other thing too is the messaging specifically that we're using. Just putting an ad doesn't,
Back 18.
it's how we message that. It's gonna get a reaction or a response or a call to action, and that's what I think might help them more.
Well,
You're close to 150,000.
Okay, so what we anticipate coming based on past, and they'll probably be coming asking for more too,
And there may be other events as well.
that we aren't aware of.
Correct.
So we are already exceeding what we have now.
Potentially.
If we were to-
It's close, it's gonna be close, right?
Yeah, I
gonna be
mean,
close.
somebody's
Well-
gonna be getting denied.
Or
Rodeo, we could
the
drop down.
future requests are going to be getting scaled back.
And you've scaled back these, so it's only fair that you scale back future ones as you have scaled back these.
Fair.
no.
No, but I agree with what you're saying. So, but I think, but based on, I think the board, we fully fund. Is that what we're feeling?
That's what I'm feeling.
I mean, it's the biggest event we have, so. All right, Commissioner?
Whatever you decide is coming to me at the next
true.
commission meeting.
Yeah.
I have to.
So,
But,
the board would like to fully fund 36.9. And
109,200.
109,200.
So it's a little less than what we had.
I know, it feels like you cut a
little
lot,
bit
that's
less.
11
Well,
grand.
It was the chamber that we cut more, so.
Alright. So,
Need a motion.
yes, do we have a motion to approve all recommendations?
A motion approved.
All right, first motion by Mr. Bryant, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And LaShawna James with the second motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? This motion carries. So before we end the meeting, do we have anything for the good of the order?
No, sir.
Thanks. Anyone else? Kim? Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Without y'all, we couldn't do any of this stuff.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
It's not us, it's the people
Without
that spend
y'all.
nights here.
Creating the events and putting all the work together would not be here.
So-
So right back at you.
Without all of us, none of us.
Okay, enough of that.
so thank you all.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Without further business to discuss, we are adjourned. I think we were adjourned a couple seconds ago.